This is Broadcast Obituaries, Gone Too Soon. We exhume a short-lived TV series, episode by episode, give it a proper eulogy, and answer the burning question, was it canceled too soon or not soon enough? Analysis, nostalgia, and our final verdict on TV's fallen heroes.
Hey everyone, welcome to Broadcast Obituaries. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Rob. Thanks for joining us today. This season, we're watching the 1994 sci-fi epic Earth 2. Aaron, the last time we were here, we discussed, trying to put some of our bona fides out there, like what qualifies us to be these
Our,
judges of all these
our,
shows from the
our
past.
TV watching history.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
what is it that you find to be good TV or even bad TV, I guess? We should probably clarify what those are. And, we each gave a couple examples last time. I actually really liked that conversation that we had. So let's do it again. What's another show that qualifies you to be a judge of this? What's one of your favorite shows or a show that you love or anything?
Show that I love. I will go with Battlestar Galactica. I'm even nervous to do another full watch through because the memories and the fondness when I did my first watch through, which was what, 10, 15 years ago now? Because I think you introduced it to me. You're like, hey, you should check this show out. It's a lot of reference points in my life now, just because it was so good. So it's a measuring stick.
I agree. We actually just finished watching it through with the kids, and it was phenomenal again. I loved it. It's definitely different than the first time I watched it,
Yeah.
but I
Did anything
enjoy
stick
it
out
just
to
as
you?
much. No, I wouldn't say anything stuck out to me. It was a similar show, but just different things. There were episodes that I did not remember at all, and just
Yeah.
it was like some of them it was like watching for the first time. Then there were obviously other things, like bigger things probably it was like I watched it the day before, like it was just so fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we
Yeah,
both watched it. I mean, it was so long ago. We had certain days, this was pre-COVID, so there were certain days of the week we could work at home. And I remember when you told me about the show that's what I did on my work at home days. I would work because it was all typey do computer stuff,
yep,
but I'd always have Battlestar on next to me and I would just burn through the episodes
yeah,
in a day. It was fantastic.
yes.
So
I had thought of a show I wanted to discuss. I have two different shows. I'll pick just one for today. We watched this show a number of years ago, and actually it's a show that it ran for 4 seasons and then was canceled before any kind of resolution. I think season 5 would have resolved this show, but the show was canceled after 4 seasons, which bummed me out because I loved the show. It made me laugh so hard, and that show is The Last Man on Earth, starring Will Forte. It's so funny. Will Forte's character, if you don't know anything about the show, this came out before COVID, but there was a disease that basically wipes out almost everybody on Earth. Will Forte is there. He thinks he's the last person alive. And at the end of the first episode, he's about to kill himself when he sees smoke. And he drives over there, and there's a woman there. And there is now another person. And there's a few episodes that go by. They get married. And then the next day, another woman shows up in town. And it's like this beautiful woman. And Will Forte's character is just like he's distraught over all of this. And that woman has been in town for 2 weeks trying to find him. He went around the whole country spray painting signs that said alive in Tucson. But she's like, you should have put your address. I've been driving around here for 2 weeks looking for you. It's small things in this show. Like when there's a bunch of people, they're all sitting down to eat this nice dinner. And when they're done with dinner, they take their dishes and they go throw them out the kitchen window, and you hear them all break outside because they have all the dishes in the world. Instead of cleaning them, they just throw them away every time they use them.
they don't even need paper plates anymore.
Right. No,
Just the
it's
good stuff.
fine china. Fine china. When we walk into Will Forte's house the first time we see it, he has like the painting water lilies, and because there's no one alive, so he stole it from whatever museum it was in, and he has presidential seal from the White House in his house because there's no one left in the White House, and just all these things he looted from museums and any famous place. He just brings them home, and it's funny seeing all these things. He has a giant dinosaur head sitting on his dining room table, so it's
What else would you do at the end of the
right,
world? You're the last
absolutely.
person there. You do
Yeah.
what you want.
So it's just a lot of little things in there that are pretty funny. So
That's pretty good.
it is definitely, as far as comedies go, it is up there for me. It's a pretty funny one. So the last time we were here, we
Yes.
discussed what order we were going to watch these episodes in, right?
Yes.
Because, there's the order that they aired on TV, which is slightly different from the order that they were filmed in. And so this is what we've landed on. We are going to watch these in the order that they aired in. This is the way that the network intended for them maybe they weren't very focused intentions, but it is what aired, so this is what was intended, not the order the
Yes.
creators intended. So we are going to experience this in the same method that the audiences did back in 1994. We're going to see what kind of confusion might result from these twisted timelines and things like that. So
Yeah.
we will definitely, as we watch these, we'll acknowledge the changes, and we're going to point out any issues as they arise. And that's just how we're going to do it. Is there really a right way or a wrong way to what order we watch these in? Well, I think a wrong way to be to pick our own order and watch them in whatever order we wanted. That would be wrong. But as far as these two methods, I don't think either one is wrong. They both have, good reasons for watching them either in the order that the creators intended or the order that they came out. This is the way we're going to do it, and who knows, maybe in future seasons we're going to change
Yeah.
it. But not future seasons of Earth 2,
Yeah.
because there's only one season of Earth 2.
There's only one season. Yeah.
Right.
And it's interesting because it'll, like, even with the episode we're going to talk about today, just the tone and dynamic. I think I even texted you when I put the episode on, and I was like, when was this supposed to air originally? And you said, no, this is in order,
Yep.
but it did not feel like it. And I've got some ideas and thoughts on why that is, but I think we're going to get that with this show where there's just storylines and plots that might feel out of place or like the timing is off. And it might have just been that we started the show and it made it feel like it was about Gaul, and now it's not anymore. So how do you make that adjustment? So I think we'll have some really interesting insights on that.
I think the Gaul thing was a very big factor
Yeah.
in the feel of the early show. One
Yeah.
other thing, though, that just came to my mind is now we're very used to a serialized format of TV. Like a lot of TV shows, we expect to go sequentially from one episode to the next. But we look at, for instance, one of our favorite shows that we've brought up many times before, Star Trek. And just to not be confused with the original series, let's refer to Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yes.
Nearly every episode was different. Like you could watch that show in
Sure.
almost any order. There were slight character developments in different episodes. Like at some point, Riker and Troy are a couple. And at the end of the series, Troy and Worf are one of the weirdest couples ever on the show, but they are a couple. So if you were to watch a season 2 episode and then a season 7 episode, you'd be like, well, how did this happen? But it doesn't affect the plot or the story at all of the show.
Right. Because they didn't carry anything through. And you can
Right.
pick up on it. When you watch it, you can pick up on little inconsistencies. Like you can tell that they aired something out of order,
Definitely.
but it doesn't matter, right?
No,
Because the story
it
doesn't
does not.
connect.
Yep.
And yeah, I was gonna say, like, TV shows today definitely have more intent on what their order is going to be and how the story goes. I imagine the networks don't even get involved in that at this point.
I don't know.
I would
I
hope.
hope not. I hope not, but who knows? But and also, so when this show came out, like they were kind of just experimenting with the serialized nature of TV. So they've had a couple
Sure.
episodes, and there will be a few more that do lead through. Like later in this season, there is a countdown to something like that takes place over multiple episodes, and it is like they have to do something in a certain time frame. And so that's a little bit serialized. Those all carry through as one storyline, but they're also doing episodes that don't, and they are just basically
Yeah.
a lot of them are just standalone episodes, and it was a tough. I think that definitely affects it. That's why we're going to see different tone in different
Yeah.
episodes because it doesn't carry over from previous episodes. It's just its own thing, so it's going to
Yeah.
feel different.
Yeah. So we have to throw out what we know today and remember how it used to be back in
Right.
ye olden days.
Yeah. So taking that all into account, then, as you've already said, our episode today is called A Memory Play, and this one originally aired on December 4th, 1994, and this one did sequentially come after the episode we talked about last week. So far, the only episode that is out of order is an episode called Natural Born Grendlers that should have aired as episode 4, like right at the middle of the whole Gaal arc. But instead, it gets tacked on at the end of the season. So that is the only episode that is missing to this point. Otherwise, we are still in order. So here is our summary of this episode. So when the crew starts finding buried bodies, Danziger realizes that these must be from the other escape pod. They start searching the area and they find that pod, but there are also 2 people in it and they're sick and dying. Julia eventually synthesizes a cure for the disease using Grendler saliva, but not until it's too late for the survivors from the escape pod. Before they die, we learn that one of those survivors was responsible for the sabotage that caused the crash, but that the people back at the station put a chip in her brain that actually caused her to do it. And that chip is what caused the disease that she and the others died from when it started leaking into her brain. In a final cliffhanger at the end of the episode, we see Julia send a message back to Earth revealing that she is an agent working for them and spying on the Eden Project.
I can't
I
wait till
know.
we get to that part.
Yeah. That is one that I have been holding on to for a while. Like I remember I remember
Yeah,
that part of this. I don't remember the specific scene, but I do remember that she was a spy. Craziness. All right.
yeah.
So
I did not see that coming.
I love the first scene in this episode.
With
Morgan
Morgan.
says,
Nowhere. I've just got some important business to attend to.
and they're out in the middle of nowhere. And in my mind, I heard that line and I thought, oh, he's got to go drop a deuce in the bushes. And I was
Yeah,
chuckling to myself. And then the next thing we see, he's over in the bushes getting ready to go to
yeah.
the bathroom. I'm like, oh, that literally is what he was doing. And the whole sequence just cracks me up. I love it's just hilarious. I just thought it was very funny. This is a very Morgan heavy episode. I don't think I mentioned his name once in the summary, but it's a Morgan episode.
It is. Yeah, yeah. Dare I say he gets a redemption arc, and we'll see.
I you dare. You just
Yeah,
dared.
we'll
You just
see.
dared. I
I
might
did.
agree. I might agree.
Yep.
So it's funny. While, not to again get into every little plot point here, but while he's back there going to the bathroom, he turns around and there's a Grendler peeping on him, a little peeping Tom Grendler,
Yeah,
which is pretty funny. And this Grendler is going to pop up throughout the entire episode.
it's the best. So every time this Grinler pops up, Morgan loses his mind a little bit more, and there's some good scenes that we'll get to about when he
Yes,
talks to Yale. But
yes,
what did you? So we've seen Grinlers a little bit here and there, and I think with
yeah,
the focus on them in this episode, they're not they're not really puppets, are they? That's somebody in a costume. And I don't think until I started seeing them more frequently that I was able to actually focus in. And I feel like they're really pretty well done. Like they didn't
yep.
seem, I mean, campy for 94, but they didn't seem as campy as the Koba, right? Which was very clearly
Not even
a terrible
close.
puppet,
Yeah,
you
Koba
know?
is a goofy looking little puppet. The Grendlers
Yeah,
are honestly they're kind of cool.
yeah.
I'm intrigued by them. As far as like the actual costume itself, like there's not a lot of articulation. Like their heads are
There's not.
not doing there's like their jaws aren't moving or anything like that. They are
Yeah,
basically like a very static head. Now their arms can move. The head is there's not a lot of expression or change there. And I get, I mean
right.
that's it's not a huge
Yeah,
deal to me. I wish there was more of that, but I think they're
yeah,
honestly kind of cool looking.
yeah, yeah. It was funny too because he's wearing clothes. The Grindler's got a robe.
Yeah,
I was like, do they know how to manufacture textiles? Where did he get this? Did he get it from Gaal? I don't.
that's possible. Maybe
Yeah,
Gaul, after enough time, was like, put some clothes on, guys. I am sick of here. I killed these 6 prisoners I came to the planet with. Put their clothes on. I cannot look at this
yeah.
any longer. This
Jeez.
is disgusting.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Maybe we'll find
could
out.
be.
We'll
Yeah.
find out the history of Grendler clothing. I
This is hopeless. It's like looking for a microchip on the internet.
think shortly after this, they do find a human grave. There's a coat hanging off of the grave that is like
Yeah.
one of the
True
coats
finds
like
it, right?
Danziger wears. Yeah, True does. She screams.
Yeah.
We all come running, and there's a grave. And Danziger like immediately figures out he's like, that's got to be the other evac pod. Which what's interesting to me about this is they have not even mentioned this other evacuation pod once in this show. Like going back to the pilot, they land, they get out, and they're like, all right, let's get moving. And I remember you and I talking about this. We're like, did everybody get off the ship? Like, are there more people out
Yeah.
there? We wanted to know. The show did not address it at all. So at least now we know there was another evacuation pod.
Yeah.
We have no idea. Like, we still don't know if everyone actually got off the ship, or honestly, they kind of make it sound like this is the only other one. But is there? Maybe there's another. Maybe there's a fourth pod. So they've all spread out and they're searching for the escape pod. And Danziger and one of his guys, his name is Baines, they see it. They're running to it. Baines trips over something. It's a dead body, of course. Danziger is right behind him, telling Baines to slow down. He falls on top of this body, face to face with it. I mean, he's like an inch away. Like he's basically making out with this dead body
Yeah.
there. It is so awkward the way he is laying on this guy and like just staring into his face. And they never even tell us if he even knows the guy.
Yeah. That's something that stuck out to me as they find the passengers. Like the ship they were all on was
Hmm.
not that big.
Right?
And so Baines in this scene, he gets to the escape pod, right? And he opens up the door, and
Hmm.
like nobody recognizes him. Like they just put a gun on him.
Yeah.
They're like, "Who are you? What do you want?" It's like, you've not been down here that long. You forgot everybody that you were on the
Right.
ship with.
3 weeks. That's what they tell us at the beginning of this
Yeah,
episode. This is day
3 weeks.
21.
So he trips on the dead body, the open door to the pod, and we see the two survivors. And I got really excited because the character Firestein, there's two survivors in the pod. The character Firestein is played by Julius Carey, who was also in one of my favorites, which we've talked about, shows from the 90s, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
Was he?
He played Lord Bowler, who was Briscoe's sidekick, I guess, in the show.
Okay.
Love the guy. Love
That's
the
cool.
actor. He's fantastic. He's also from, I guess it's a cult classic, The Last Dragon, which is like a 1980s black martial arts movie with Bruce Leroy. And
I do not know it.
he played Sho'nuff. It's a great movie. You got to watch it. It's really, really
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay.
So, but I was thrilled. I was doing the whole Leo DiCaprio pointing at the screen like, I know this guy. So,
Yeah.
really excited about
Great.
that.
He's joining our show. He's going to be with us for the rest
That's
of the
what
season.
I thought. That's what I thought.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
did not work out. And sadly though, because I did have to look him up, because I haven't seen this guy in anything. He did pass away in 2008. So, but if you get a
He
chance
did
to
look a
look
little
him up,
bit older in this show.
yeah, he passed away from pancreatic cancer, I think is what I read. So
man,
if you get a chance to look up his filmography, check it out.
I'll
He's
have
got
to check
some
him out.
really good stuff. So
While we're mentioning some of the actors in this, the actor for Baines, he's actually played by Rockmond Dunbar, which is a name I have never known. I've never looked it up. However, I know this guy as C-Note in the show Prison Break, which I loved.
I
The
never
first,
watched it.
oh man, the first season is phenomenal. The second season is pretty cool. The third season was bad, and then
As it
they,
goes.
yeah, definitely. And then it got canceled. And then of course, because now every show from 20 years ago gets a new season 20 years later, it did get another season at some point in the future, which I never saw. But he plays C-Note on this show, and he was good. I really liked him. But he's been on lots of other shows too. Sons of Anarchy, The Mentalist. He's currently on 911. So like these are like real, and they're not just guest stars. He's actually on these for longer periods of time. And this was actually his first TV role ever. So it was pretty neat to see that. And he did one movie before this, and then other than that, this was his very first role. So pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know I wouldn't have made that connection because I don't watch those shows, but it's really fun to do this type of rewatch and see these old actors that we know now from different things and realize that they were in this show.
Definitely.
And,
that's one of my favorite parts,
really
honestly,
cool.
is being like, what's this guy in? What's that guy in? What's he do?
Yeah, I know that guy. So, Baines and Danziger are at the escape pod, and Lord Bowler, or Firestein, I guess I got to call him by his name, Firestein.
We can't go through this whole season calling people Lord Bowler and Kurgan and C-Note. We actually have to use their names from this show, or else it's gonna get way too confusing.
Sounds like a challenge to me. But Firestein and his wife are trapped in this escape pod, and they're both sick with this mysterious disease that's been killing these crew members. How would you describe that disease? Because you mentioned it in your summary, but yeah, it was the lady, his wife, Firestein's wife. I can't remember the character's name now, but she had Wentworth. Yes, so Firestein and Wentworth are in the escape pod, and they find out everybody's sick, and there's this weird thing spreading. And Firestein, I think, says this, disease, starts slow, but then you start having very vivid memories of your past, followed by moments of extreme pain, and then eventually you die. And I'm trying to figure out, is that similar to any disease or viruses or anything that we know of today? Alzheimer's maybe, but opposite?
Yeah, I mean, that is the first thing that came to my mind is dementia.
Yeah.
But again, in reverse, which is a little weird. Like but it, memory things are always kind of tied together like that.
Yeah.
So no, it didn't really make me think of anything specific aside from that. And I try not to think about dementia if I don't have to. Because dementia sucks.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. So after Danziger lets everyone know that he has found the pod, Devin Adair brings a crew, and they're coming, and she's like at the top of the small cliff, and Danziger says, "Hey, don't come down here, stay away, stay back." And she says, "No, I'm coming down." And she doesn't ask why not. She doesn't ask, is something wrong? What's going on? She's just like, "No, I'm coming." Does she think that like he's found some big secret treasure and he wants to keep it all for himself? Why else would she think he would advise her to stay away? Obviously, there's a danger. But she's like, "Nope, I'm coming." And he's trying to keep her from getting sick. It just kills me. The things that people say, we've talked about true in the past and some of the dumb decisions or things that she says. And now Devin is just like, I'm coming down there. I'm disregarding what you say.
Yeah. But
Just,
she was excited to see survivors,
I
but
guess, well, she
you would
wouldn't be
think on
after
the
she saw him.
oh, I know. Yeah, but you would think after the stuff they've experienced that when
Yeah,
you get a warning from somebody that you've grown to trust, that you would heed that warning and
right.
maybe not go running down the cliff.
I mean, what if there was a whole new, what if it didn't even have anything to do with anyone in the pod? What if there was a whole new alien disaster waiting down there for them?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
or, a swirling fire pool that they've never encountered,
Yeah.
just something, some natural feature. It's just, oh, I'm
Yeah.
coming down there.
Coming down.
Kills me.
Yeah. And she was so adamant that Danziger had to shoot his gun in the air to get her to stop. She was not going to listen. So
Stop. Cease and desist. I beg you.
So let's talk about Morgan and the Grendler a little bit more here, right? So
yeah. Yeah.
there have been 3 or 4 or more scenes at this point, honestly, where he turns around and there's this Grendler that's always just kind of spying on him. And every time he sees the Grendler, he freaks out. One time he even shoots at it, and he always grabs Bess and he tells her, and they go and look, and the Grendler has completely Batmaned him. Like as soon as he
Oh
turns around to
yeah.
get someone, he's gone. He just disappears.
Yeah. Nobody
And
believes him.
nobody believes him. And like, we don't even know, honestly, as we're watching the episode, like he could just be seeing things.
Well,
It could be completely in his mind.
yeah, and it's honestly how it starts to feel at the beginning is he's losing it, because he starts acting and talking and sounding like a genuine crazy person, mumbling to himself, always in a
Yes, a lot.
panic. So
Yeah, yeah. So his Grendler friend, or his friendler,
Friendler.
he plays, even if he is a figment of his imagination, it's a really crucial role in this episode. Like I think he's starting to symbolize his conscience. Like he's got his eye on him because this entire time Yale is doing an investigation into their crash, and Morgan is really worried
Mm,
that Yale is going to figure out that he took that escape pod, that he didn't wait for anyone. It wasn't an accident. He did it himself.
yeah,
And when I was watching this, I was like, I think his friendler is really just his anxiety, like causing him to see
just
this
coming out to
alien that is like
yeah, something he's
stalking
afraid
him.
of.
Right. It's
Yeah,
it's like his anxiety is sitting there in real life, and we're all seeing it. It's definitely how it feels. So it was.
yeah,
I love it. Honestly, I loved that whole aspect
yeah,
of it.
and it does make sense because I don't think we brought it up yet, but there's a few moments in this episode where we hear people being accused of causing the accident, right? So Alonzo gets on Danziger and he's like, you didn't inject the pods like you were supposed to, and
Hmm.
then somebody tells Alonzo like, well, you're the pilot, why didn't you pilot better? So there's definitely that underlying story kicking up here where they're starting to get a little ticked off at each other, all that emotion's
Hmm.
coming out. This is also one of those things that made me feel like this was a little out of order, but I think it was the placement of those Gaal episodes because I feel like these are conversations that would have taken place like day 2 after being on the planet, right? And I think Gaal just completely disrupted the timeline of anything that would actually happen. So I feel like they should have just really spread his story out because everything else now feels like you're 3 weeks in. You should have all these fights should have happened by now, or you should be like way further into them.
I
So
think we're going to see a lot of the things that happen in the coming episodes. I think they're things that we even discussed early on, like what they're going to eat, what they're going to drink, all these
yeah,
things. They're things that we've mentioned, and they're not happening until like episodes 5. This one's 5, right?
it's
5,
crazy.
6, 7, 8. Like that's when a lot of these things start happening, and
Yeah,
it is definitely odd that they're happening that late. Like these should have been their first concerns when
yeah,
they crashed. Like why are they waiting 3 weeks to start doing an investigation into the crash?
exactly. Yeah, that's my point. It's
Yeah,
wild. It should have been the
yeah,
first
it
thing they
makes no
figured
sense.
out what
Yeah,
happened. So,
yeah.
but yeah, so Morgan's feeling guilty as he
He is.
should.
So basically, he confesses to Bess. He tells her what's going on.
Yeah,
And it's right after he sees one of the Grendlers, or the Grendler. It's just one. It's right after he sees his Grendler friend, his friendler. And he confesses to her, and she's like,
Do I look stupid, Morgan Martin?
No, you look good.
and
that,
he's
yeah,
he's a little offended, I think.
yeah, and it threw me because I'm like, Bess, you're not as innocent as I thought. You
Yeah,
knew this, and
yeah.
you were okay with it,
At least going along with it. Maybe
right?
not okay with it.
Well,
But
she's supporting her husband. She's supporting her
right,
husband. So
she's a very good wife. So she tells him that he needs to confess it to the entire group now. She's like, you need to go tell all those
yeah,
good people about it. And it's funny
yeah.
the next time,
Confession. She says, confession washes the soul.
right. And it's the
Yep.
next time we see them together, she is telling everyone about what he did.
He's
Not him. He's sitting there.
still a coward.
He's still
Like a
sitting
child.
there, yes, looking like a scolded child. He looks embarrassed and ashamed, but she's doing all the talking for it.
That's what he wanted to say.
Then why doesn't he say it instead of hiding behind his wife?
And it's crazy to me how little everyone seems to care. Like, they talk about it, one person says something, and then the next thing they're like, all I know is we got to get out of here before we get sick, because they think the area of
Yeah.
the planet is making people sick. And they're like,
Yeah.
we got to get out of here. And the entire conversation becomes about that. And no one even talks about Morgan and what he did
Yeah.
anymore. Like, it's completely
It
just whatever.
Yeah, and Danziger isn't even there to
That
witness
killed
the
me.
conversation. And I was like,
I
how
know.
do you do this? How do you not have him there
Right.
during this
this
moment? It's
I agree.
pivotal. And it was such a huge miss for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I with you 100%. I had the same thoughts.
And-
I was like, he missed it.
Yeah, and it does kill me that Morgan doesn't even fess up, but you kind of saw it coming because even when Bess is telling him, yeah, you need to tell everybody, confession washes the
Right.
soul. And I think Morgan even says, well, I confess to you, I'm feeling
Right.
pretty good. No, man, you're missing the point.
Still a dirtbag.
Yep.
So shortly after that, Morgan has another confrontation with his friendler. He wakes up and the thing is standing over him, and it just drools all over him. And he freaks out and he runs over to the medical tent, and he's throwing his arms around, and saliva like flings off of them and gets all over everything in this tent, all the samples that Julia's been collecting from the deceased people. But
Yeah.
this is actually what leads Julia to find the solution.
Yeah, and at this point, we've confirmed that Danziger and Barnes are sick now.
Baines, but yes,
Baines, not Barnes, Baines.
Right.
Yes,
Yep.
and Baines
I agree. Yep,
are
they
sick
do
now.
have the
So
disease.
so it's even more important now because people
Right now,
close to
people
them.
we care about, when people we care about
Right.
have it. Now
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but now she's finding the solution is the Grendler saliva, that it will actually cure the disease. And honestly, to me, this leads to probably the best moment in this entire episode, and one of the best moments in the entire show for me. It's like they have spent 4 episodes so far making me hate Morgan on purpose, all to get to this moment here, so that now I find myself completely rooting for him. So they're not sure how they're going to get the Grendler saliva, and Morgan steps into the tent.
What do we find ourselves a Grendler?
I think I might be your man.
Yep.
And I nearly cheered out loud when he did it. I was just like, yes, finally some backbone. Like, I was so excited when he did that. Literally, I've watched that part of the episode 3 or 4
Yeah.
times now. And every time I was just like, yes. And we have recordings of how much I have hated on this character throughout
Same.
the show so far, both of
Yeah.
us. But
Yeah.
I feel like this show has completely humanized him. And it's like, this is maybe not his big redemption arc, but it's at least a start of a redemption arc.
Right. We'll see where he goes
Yeah.
in future episodes, but it's a good one.
Yeah,
for
this
sure.
felt like it was very well earned. Sometimes people have a redemption arc that just comes out of nowhere. I feel like this has been like they
Yeah.
demonstrate they like show him like turning throughout
Yeah.
this episode. It was very cool. I just
Yeah,
love that
and
moment. It was awesome.
And it was really cool. And he does still have, his Morgan moments, like when they're trying to investigate the crash, and I am forgetting her name. Adair asks Yale, she's like, hey, you record everything. Can you go through and watch the recordings of the ship, even if it's just your point of view, and see what you can see? And Morgan, still being Morgan, steps in. He's like, he's a cyborg. Do we really want to trust him? And it's like, no, you just know that you might be getting caught because
Right.
you don't know what Yale saw. So he's got to really redeem himself. But I'm with you. It was good to see him step up, and say that he was going to help with the Grindler spit.
So we get to see him go try to get the Grendler spit, and it's a pretty funny scene. He's wandering around, he's talking to himself,
I'm kind of prone to irrational behavior.
and he's saying things like, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't take the pot again because I'm learning. And honestly, like, it was
Yeah.
kind of like, I was like, that's cool. Like, he knows he's a sleazebag, but he's doing his best. He's trying, and I like it. I like it. So he does find the Grendler, and he asks him, "Hey, would you mind slobbering into this thermos for me?" And he's got like he's got a whole suitcase full of gear to offer in trade,
Yeah.
whatever he wants. And the Grendler is kind of snorting around, sniffing, and Morgan is muttering, "Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me." Which again, like this is a big deal for him to be doing this. Like it's not just
Yeah.
him walking out. Like he really thinks he might die doing this, but he's
Yeah.
still doing it. So again, redemption arc in process. Pretty cool. It is funny though, because then what the Grendler wants, he just grabs his jacket and rips it off of him.
Yeah.
And then he grabs his shirt and rips it off of him. And when it looks down at his pants, the look on Morgan's face is priceless. It is hilarious. Just hilarious.
Yeah. And he does. He gives him everything. The clothes off his back. Just to get
Literally the clothes off his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
So
it's hilarious.
he went through with it.
That shirt had sentimental value, And I don't even want to mention the pants.
Great job. I'm sure you can't hear it. I'm applauding. I'm clapping. Good for him.
Yeah. He deserves it this time. So Yale's doing an investigation. He's watching the playback, and in his playback, he sees a panel on the ship, right, that is unlocked, that should not be unlocked. So at this point, Yale's like, no, there was some sabotage. And now he
Listen,
goes
all
into
y'all.
Listen, all y'all. Is that what he
It's
says?
sabotage. That's what he does.
Sabotage.
He goes up to a dare and
Okay.
he says, "Listen, all y'all."
He's gonna break out some lyrics. Yeah. But he knows something's not right. So he goes into detective mode and he starts questioning people, and everybody's really defensive. He talks to Alonzo and he's asking Alonzo a bunch of questions, and Alonzo's just even appalled, fanning his face, like, how dare you even ask me? And um and we see the best scene is we see Yale. So it's right after Morgan gets drooled on by the Grindler, and he goes in and ruins all of Julia's stuff, and he goes out and he's washing his hands off, and Yale's standing there talking to him, and Yale just puts him on the most amazing guilt trip, and I don't remember what he says exactly. Morgan's like, I don't know what's going on. Do you think I'm crazy? And
You don't think that that's a symptom of the disease, do you?
I really don't know, Morgan. It's a mysterious ailment.
My God, can't you be a little more comforting?
I'm sorry, no.
it's really cool to see Yale getting more screen time. I'm going to go back and say it again. I think they got Tim Curry, and I think they just put him in too much in those first few episodes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is the first time I'm actually getting to see some of these other characters do something and be a part of the story, where it's not just True and Danziger and Gaal.
Right. We get to see Detective Yale.
Yeah.
Basically
But
here.
really cool.
Not to beat a
It's
dead
sabotage.
horse.
Yeah.
Right. Not to beat a dead horse, but the Tim Curry arc really probably did more harm for the show than good. It's nice to you want to get your big guest star on the show, and they got him on early. And it was kind of a nice teaser right at the end of the pilot to turn around and see him standing there watching them, and they have no idea. And we're like, where'd this guy come from? That's kind of a nice little cliffhanger teaser type deal. But to dive right in and devote 3 episodes out of 21 to him right from the start was just tough. It was tough. When that's really we should be exploring the planet. And I would have been. I think if his entire arc happened like at episodes 9 through 15, somewhere in that period, like halfway through, after we've gotten to explore the planet, that would
established.
Right, exactly. Establish the planet and the environment instead of this guest star who is from your own planet of Earth 1. To me, that would have been a much better take.
Yeah. So Yale, that was really cool.
Yep.
I'm excited to see more of him in future episodes. So.
Agreed. So there's a pretty touching moment at the end of this episode when Danziger's friend Firestein, or Lord Bowler, when he dies. It's pretty touching. His lady Wentworth has already gone before him, and Firestein has a vision of her as he's dying, basically in Danziger's arms, and he sees her walking across this little river towards him. And it's just it's a very tender moment. Like, we can see her coming as well. We see her, the vision. Danziger can't see her, but she bends down and she gives John a kiss on the cheek, and he puts his hand up like he can feel it.
He does. Yeah.
And it makes me like, are they trying to say something about this planet? Like, is it just a touching story of friendship and death? Or are they actually saying, this planet, G889, there is magic about this planet that you don't even know about? Well, it's hard to tell what they're saying. I tend to believe it's probably just more of, it's a touching moment. Yeah. But maybe not.
I don't know. I feel like with what we've seen on the dream planes and, the connections that that they're making to some of the Tarians and things. I think one thing that really made it touching is they spent a lot of time in this episode with Danziger and Firestein and Wentworth talking about their friendship. They've known each other
Mhm.
forever, right? They even
Right.
say at one point when Danziger's sick and he's having a moment of recollection when he's talking to True. When I say recollection, it's the disease is making him remember things. And he tells True, he's like, your first steps were into Wentworth's arms, right? So these aren't just like acquaintances. He is very, very close friends with these two
Right.
people that are dying. And, he finds out eventually who the saboteur is. And it's, I think, right before Wentworth passes away. And he finds out that Wentworth was the one who sabotaged the ship. And it's a really tough scene because you can see Danziger like, how do I reconcile this? You're everybody's dying. Firestein tries to take, responsibility for it.
Yeah, he says it was him.
He says it was him, but you find out it was Wentworth, and it's just really amazing. But then we do find out that it wasn't Wentworth's fault, right? She had that
Right.
chip implanted in her head, and somebody on the station programmed her to do this, right?
Yep.
And that was her thing. And there's a fun flashback scene where Firestein sees her standing at that panel that Yale saw, and she's just melting all the connections so that
hmm
the cargo pods won't release. And so, yeah, the whole end of this episode was just feels. Like you had some really good, funny moments with Morgan, but
Right.
the last 10, 15 minutes of it is just, they really turn it up.
It's
So,
emotional roller coaster, let me tell you.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
the Morgan scene is funny. This scene is sad but touching.
yeah.
And then the next scene gets exciting. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
next scene, we already alluded to it in the opening there, but the next scene is the cliffhanger of this show. Julia, the doctor, walks outside of the camp and makes herself throw up. It's not an eating disorder. She picks up something that she puked up there, and it's a little
Yeah.
device. She turns it on. She gives it. She says checking in, and we find out that she's there to monitor the Eden project, and she
Yeah.
gives a message to directly, it's like to whoever planned the crash, because she's working for them.
Julia Heller, initial check-in. Code X0482. I've joined you on the planet. Monitoring Eden Project. And I know you plan to crash.
I just gotta say, my very first thought with this, I saw all this, and I thought, how did she keep that device inside of her? How did she keep it in her stomach for 3 weeks?
And never, like,
Right.
I went to the
Yes.
same place. I was like, so she swallows this thing, and then what? Does she make sure she pukes it up frequently? Is she cleaning it out of her restroom breaks
Right.
and then re-swallowing it?
Right.
I didn't understand it. But
Maybe, there's obviously no McDonald's on this planet, so maybe she just, maybe she hasn't gone like in 3 weeks. Maybe that's an effect of the cryo sleep that they were all in.
Constipation.
Yeah. 3-week long constipation. I don't know.
So is what got me is she sends, I'm assuming she sends a message, right? She's actively communicating with somebody on Earth.
That's how it seems.
Yeah, and there was something she said that, what did she say in the message? That, you sabotage us, you destroyed the ship on purpose or something. So I think there's a part of what Julia knew she was there to do, but she didn't know they were going to try to blow the ship up. So I think she's going to have some conflict, right? Like the people she was working for were willing to kill her, and things didn't go according to plan. So I think it'll be interesting to see because Julia's got to get caught at some point. I hope, because I want to see it. And there's so many hopes for one season of a show that I want to make sure we get closure on, and we probably won't get it.
Right. There is a lot, but honestly, this was a big answer. This episode actually provided a good number of answers to some of our questions from the beginning. Like, was it an accident? And at some point, I think they've alluded in the past that there might be a spy or something, or a saboteur anyway, maybe not a spy, but a saboteur on board. Now we know there was at least one and a spy, which is really cool. So this definitely, while it answered some questions, it opened up doors to others, which is cool.
It did. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the episode. That's how it all goes. Were there any more specific spots that you wanted to talk about? Any specific instances or scenes?
No, I think I find myself stuck in the details. I really want to understand how this virus worked.
Yeah.
That the lady had brain tumors, had this chip implanted, the chip leaks, the chip that they used to have her sabotage this ship, the chip leaks, and all of a sudden now somehow it becomes a virus that can spread. It's a contagion that spreads. And so I feel like there's got to be something about the planet that causes these changes or mutations. And I think it's that mental link, right? How does that? I don't know. There's stuff like
Yeah.
that I just wish we had like a million seasons that we could just sit down and watch and learn everything. So
Yeah, I would say don't waste too much time wondering about that because I'm pretty sure we will never get an answer to that one
no,
about
I'm gonna
the
go look for
question.
I'm gonna go look for some fan fiction. Somebody's got to cover it.
So, all
No,
right, well, so
yeah,
that's our episode as a whole. What are your thoughts about the episode? What do you think?
it's like a breath of fresh air. No Gaul, which was good for me. I was definitely ready for that arc to end. I love that Morgan seems to get his redemption arc, so he's been put on a path of redemption. We'll say that, but he's not
Yes, I
redeemed
like that.
himself yet. I like that we get to see more of Yale. We didn't just focus on True and like these same small groups of people. So it feels like this, like you said before, this is where the show should have gone after episode one, and they should have sprinkled the Gaul episodes throughout. He should have just been popping up at camps, causing problems, and then disappearing. So this one felt great, but it also felt way out of order. Like it should have just been episode two. Like this is where you should have gone immediately.
Yeah,
So yeah. How about you?
really like this one. This is it's probably my favorite episode so far, including the pilot, which was my
Yeah.
previous favorite episode.
Yeah,
This,
I
but
agree.
we got some answers. Like we wondered if there were other people, what happened to them if there were, was the ship sabotaged, who might have done that. We got answers to all of that already right here. And I will say that at first, the answer that it was this totally brand new character who sabotaged the ship was kind of unsatisfying to me. Like
Yeah.
you're going to bring in this character who is now going to immediately die, and you're going to be like, oh, that's the person. And in my mind, like it's much better off if there is a saboteur, if they're a part of your main cast and you get into it.
Yeah.
But so
Could be
then
Julia.
exactly. So that's the thing. So we see that Wentworth is the saboteur and she's gone. But then we turn around, we find out that Julia is actually a spy also working with the bad guys, even though Wentworth wasn't doing it on
Yeah.
purpose. She wasn't doing it intentionally. But still, we see that there is still a spy in their own group. And then I was totally fine with the whole Wentworth being the saboteur. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
there is a lot more to
Yeah.
this story. That was like a nice distraction, but the real saboteur is here on
Something's
their
going
own
on.
crew. I
Yeah.
like it. And that's any good show that is like a long running mystery, like take Lost, for instance.
Oh gosh, Lost. Yeah.
Every time they answer one question, it's going to open up a door to either another question or two more questions or something. So, and that's
Right.
what, that was what I liked about Lost was the mysteries getting answers and then deeper mysteries, even though
Yeah.
I never actually finished the show. And in the long
We
run,
didn't either.
I have zero interest in going back to it either.
Yeah.
But so really, this is the first real moment at the end of the show. It's the first moment since the pilot when I was like, oh man, what's going to happen? Like I was on the edge of my
Yeah.
seat. Like I can't wait to see what happens with this specific storyline.
Yeah. And I could put this part in some speculation, but Yale does go down the path, right, of like who woke up first from cryo
Mhm.
sleep, what order did they wake up in? And we know Alonzo was first up. He was in the cockpit checking on things, and then we see Julia and Danziger. And do you think it's possible that Julia got up and her first action was to turn on Wentworth? So when Wentworth woke up, she would go and just sabotage the ship.
It is definitely possible.
Yeah.
Definitely possible.
So
Although, just for the record, Antonio says when he's being questioned by Yale, he says Julia was the first up. Medical staff is always the first ones awake. So she was
Oh,
actually
you're right,
the 1st
you're right,
one
you're right.
awake. She was the first one
Okay.
awake. But
yeah,
again, that just means she could go trigger, basically,
Yeah,
start the
she's got
timer
time.
on exactly. She could do whatever she wanted. Maybe she got up a week before everyone else. Maybe she's been sitting there eating potato chips waiting for everyone else to wake up.
just hanging out. Got
Yeah.
her nefarious plans in place.
Yeah, because I mean, realistically, how would a computer chip? So they're 22 light years away from Earth 1
Yeah.
here on Earth 2. No one can be like real time activating that chip, and communications are not going to be real time because there's so much.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way. Like Julia's message isn't going to take 22 years to get back to Earth 1, but
Right.
it still can't be simultaneous, even in their
Yeah.
slightly skewed physics of reality there. So I'm not sure how anyone could have remotely been controlling Wentworth and timing it exactly right for what needed to
Right.
happen there.
Yeah.
So it
Julia
is.
had
I think
to.
it's a very good option that she may have done something, or
Yeah.
if not directly to Wentworth, maybe she triggered something on some kind of pad. Maybe she didn't know what it was going to do since she didn't know they were going to crash. But maybe
Mhm.
she sent her first message when she woke up, and that's what also triggered Wentworth to go do her stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope that's
Yeah.
something we get to see more of.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a cool episode. I really like this one.
Yeah,
Lots of
it was a
fun
lot of fun.
stuff. Right.
Yep.
Hey, let's
Got
make
me
a
excited.
let's make a pact.
A pact. A
Let's
blood
not talk about
pact?
Gaal anymore. We're not talking about Gaal anymore.
Okay, no more Gaal.
Yeah.
The Gaal of you.
Because right, I know of all the Gaal. Yeah. We clearly
Yeah,
we
he's
did
gone.
not. Neither of
He's
us
done.
like that storyline. It's
No.
over. It's past. Let's just not bring it up again. Let's see
Yeah.
if we can get through the
Okay.
next episode without talking about him.
No Gaal. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a blood pact.
Right.
We'll do it.
Which reminds me of the blood tacos that he would feed the Grendlers.
We just said no more Gaal.
Dang it. Sorry.
You have failed.
Yeah. Well, starting now.
Right now. Okay.
Right now. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's do our best. He's
Yeah. We will.
It just makes me angry thinking about him. So let's just try not to talk about him.
Yeah.
It's past, unless for some reason it actually comes up in an episode again. Obviously, we need to
Sure.
talk about it. But if
Sure.
it's all in the past, let's keep it in the past. The guy's
Right.
killing me.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
do we have anything else to talk about?
No, I think that's it. I think we covered it. No, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. And I think I know where you're going to answer, or how you're going to answer this. If you were deciding right now to keep watching this show, are you going to keep watching it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. This episode, regardless of what I've seen to this point, after I watched this one, I'm like, this just got interesting.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how on the fence I might have been originally, by this point, I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. This is cool. Yeah.
I
They
gotta
shoulda-
see what's going on.
Yeah. They should have called the episode Redemption, because that's how it felt. I was
Redemption of
excited
the
to get
show, redemption of Morgan.
the show. Morgan. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. What about, so I assume you're in the same boat. You keep watching.
Oh
this.
yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
sure.
Well, let me read our recap for the next episode here. The next episode is episode 6, and it's called Water, and it originally aired Sunday, December 11th, 1994. With narration by Bess, the colonists face a dwindling water supply. Having a scan showing water 12 kilometers away, Adair and Danziger take 6 empty drums and ride the dune rail, but they encounter Terrians.
Bum bum bum.
Yeah, I like the Terrians, so I'm excited to see them again.
I'm already annoyed. Okay. See, we shouldn't read these so soon. They literally, the last scene in the last episode, one of the last scenes took place at a river. They were literally by a river. How are they out of water?
It's an
at this
excellent
point?
question. Excellent question.
And again,
wonder-
it makes me call into, are these airing in any kind of order? Like, what is happening?
That's an excellent point. I did not even think about that at this point. I'm looking something
Yeah.
up here real quick. Clickety clackety. Okay, so some of the episodes give us they tell us what day it is, and from the time they crash, like that one at the very beginning when Devin Adair is narrating, she says, "We've been on this planet for 21 days." And the Wikipedia entry for Earth 2 notates that in the episode order. Whenever they get a date reference, they notate it in there. And there is no date reference for this next episode, Water. So, but I will tell you that
Yeah.
the next episode is dated day 38. So between those two episodes, there are 17 days. It seems like if they're filling up 6 drums of water, that might last them
Yeah.
probably a good
Maybe,
portion
yeah.
of that time.
And there might be a reason they're out of water, right? Something
Sure,
happened.
maybe there's an
So-
accident. Maybe there's another saboteur that like dumps all their water
Sure.
out, like on Battlestar Galactica when somebody blows a hole in one of
Yeah.
their water supplies and it vents all their water into space.
Yeah.
Saboteur.
Tour.
So
I'll
yeah,
hold my judgment.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, although this description literally just says dwindling water supplies, so it just sounds like they're running out. So
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
see. I don't know.
Okay.
Don't think about it too much, man.
I'm
It's
going
just
to.
TV. It's just TV. So this is a good one. I would like to give the exciting update that this next episode called Water is not available on YouTube. So if you are following along and you're watching these each week with us, I hate to break it to you, but the episode Water, as near as I can find, is not available online or anywhere else. So I have actually bought the DVD set on eBay, and
One
I
of
should
us.
be receiving
One
this.
of us.
I should be getting that within the next week. So,
Yeah.
I mean, within the next couple of days, I'll be able to watch this and record it.
Yeah.
You know,
And
within
since
the next week.
we're positive that everybody's going to love this show, I bought
Yeah.
the remaining copies
Smart.
off eBay.
Smart.
So if you are watching along with us and you want to get up to episode 6, shoot me an email. I'm happy to sell them to you for a premium.
Right. I bet you are. All right. Well, hey, I'm Rob.
I'm Aaron.
Thanks for listening,
Thanks
everyone.
for listening. We said at the same time, twinsies. All right. Thanks, everyone. Hey everyone, welcome to nope. Hey everyone, welcome to Broadcast Obituaries. I'm Aaron. Hey everyone, welcome to Broadcast Obituaries. I'm Aaron.
It's like that episode of The Office. We occasionally watch The Office throughout the week, and my kids like it, whatnot. So if we get a half hour, we'll take a watch. But there was an episode
Yeah,
where the hot toy for Christmas is it's like a Barbie doll with a horn. She's Princess Unicorn. She's got a horn coming out of her forehead.
I
And
don't remember this
Dwight
one.
goes around to every toy shop in town and buys them all completely out of stock. He buys every last one of them so that the parents who don't plan ahead have to come to him and buy them at a premium. And he sells
Yeah.
these things for like $200 a piece. And
Jeez.
he's
Yeah.
down to one last one, and Toby, the HR guy in the show, is like, I got to get this for my daughter. My wife just bought this for our daughter. He's divorced, and his wife bought her daughter something really good. So he's like, I have to get it for my daughter. And he said, well, I've only got one left. It's $400. He's like, thank you. And he's like thanking him for spending, $400 for this doll. It is hilarious.
That's so bad.
It's very funny.
Do you remember those? Was it Tickle Me Elmo was big?
Yeah, that's
Remember
exactly what I
people
thought of
getting
this
in-
whole episode.
Yeah, people getting in fights in department stores trying to get that for that Christmas. I think
Yeah.
Furbies did the same thing one Christmas. Yeah.
I bet
just
the
don't
people
get
that
it.
end up going to jail for fighting over those things look back at it and like, I can't believe,
Yeah.
I have a felony criminal account on my record now for fighting over that dumb little toy.
Stupid Tickle Me Elmo. Yeah,
Yep, funny.
that's funny. It's good stuff.
Yeah.